So today we're going to start putting the front brakes back together on our chassis here. So what I wanted to do is show you what I've done. So I've cleaned all the parts, which, you know, that's usually a kind of a tedious little job, and it takes a long time. I reused all the bolts in here. However, I went ahead and cleaned and polished, or not polished, but just cleaned and everything, you know, the way they're supposed to be. I went ahead and got new brake hoses. So these are new, and all the hardware, as you can see, is all nice and replenished and clean. So the backing plates, I went ahead and sandblasted them and cleaned them all up. And then the closest color that I could get to the original color is this warm caramel satin paint. That's pretty close to the original color. So what I've done so far is I went ahead and mounted the brake cylinders on here. So I'm pretty much ready now to mount this onto the chassis and then start putting together the rest of the brake hardware. So let me show you here how this goes together. So what we've got is our spindle here, and so the way this mount is, this backing plate has a little notch. That notch goes down. I think what it is if there is any grease that comes out of the wheel bearings and past the seal, then it allows for it to drip down on the back side of the plate. And the reason why I say that, because what goes in here is a little gasket, which, by the way, the gasket that was on here was all deteriorated. So I went ahead from this plate that goes in here, I made a little pattern and I made my own gasket. So the way that this goes together is you have your gasket that goes in here, you have your plate, again with this little part down so that it matches the notch. So all of that goes in here, and then we have 4 bolts. Now one of the bolts is longer than the other 3, okay? And the reason being is that one of the bolts goes through here and this little arm for steering. So what we'll do here is we'll put the bolts in here. Now the bolts are notched so that they kind of, once they go in there, they fit against that plate, and you don't have to hold them. They won't spin. We'll put the first 2 in. Put the plate in here, and start our. By the way, I put all new locking washers on here. I figured that would be good. Again, I cleaned up all these nuts and bolts and everything, so everything is nice and clean and fresh, and wherever I could, I replaced them. But you know, I kind of like to reuse as much as possible the original hardware that came out, including bolts, because I don't know, to me, you know, it's kind of more of a more of keeping the originality, right? I mean, you know, you can actually say, you know, the original bolts are on. So if you look here at the front suspension, I reuse as much as possible. All the original bolts are back on there. As a matter of fact, a lot of them have a stamping on it that says Fiat. So Fiat apparently makes their own bolts. So a lot of them have a stamping that actually says Fiat on it. Actually, you can see it on this one here. It says, it's stamped right on there, Fiat. So anyway, and of course, I don't know that you can actually find Fiat bolts anymore. Maybe you can, I don't know. But anyway, as much as possible, I cleaned everything up and reused the same things. So that's where we are today. We'll continue on, and I'll show you how the brake shoes and all the springs and everything go together. All right, so hang tight.